You know, sometimes here at Roadshow, we get a brief drive in a vehicle, and then a few months later, we get it for a little bit more time. Such is the case with the 2018 Kicks, the newest subcompact crossover from Nissan. And after spending a week in the vehicle, I am pleased to report that I still find it to be a pleasant little thing, but I've got one exception. With a starting price of under $18,000, don't expect any kind of big-time performance engine under the hood. Instead, I've got a 1.6 liter putting out 125 horsepower and 115 pound-feet of torque. I mean, there isn't even a turbocharger under there. And when you look at the competition, well, the new Hyundai Kona, it's got two engine options, one for 147 horsepower, one for 175. The Mazda CX-3 gets 146, and the Honda HR-V gets 141. In fact, everything else in the class has more power except for that tiny little 3-cylinder engine that you can get in the Ford EcoSport. So underpowered, yes, but also really lightweight, less than 2,700 pounds. So you've got a good power to weight ratio. All of that torque comes in pretty low, so you can easily dart in and out of traffic in the city. But if you get up to a steep hill, you're gonna need a lot of momentum and just a little bit of prayer. The power goes down to the front wheels through a continuously variable transmission. And CVTs got a bad rap when they first came out, deservedly so, but Nissan's done a really good job with this transmission. It does a great job at mimicking a traditional automatic, and there isn't any of that buzzy, drony noise. Although, when really pushed, like merging onto a highway, you do get a little bit of that rubber band feeling. Now, you might have noticed that there's no all-wheel drive option available in this car. I mean, people want all-wheel drive, even though most of them don't really need it, and the class reflects that. In fact, there's just this car, the Toyota CHR, and the Kia Niro that don't have the option of all-wheel drive. So what's my one little thing that's changed from the first drive? Well, it's in the steering. I mean, the ratio is still really quick, and I like the weight of it, but there is something about the on-center feel. It doesn't return back to center easily. I actually have to push it back there. Now, this seems to happen a little bit more on slower speeds, and maybe it's just a function of this particular car, but there's something different about the way this car steers than in my first drive. So now that I've jabbered on about performance, let's talk a little bit about styling. Now, this isn't really a replacement for the Juke, but it certainly does shop at the same crazy pants clothing store. I mean, this has got a ton of angles. There's two-tone paint, a floating roof, a bunch of colored accessories, and there's some very highly designed taillights in the back. I mean, I love it, but it is definitely not everyone's cup of tea. Now, when it comes to tech, well, this is an entry-level vehicle, so there's not a lot available, but we do have a full video on that, so be sure to check it out. Standard across all trims are Nissan zero-gravity seats, and I love them. I mean, they're not like massaging or anything like that, but they're so comfortable. It's a great second choice. And if you've got an extra $1,000, I highly recommend the premium package. That will heat up those front seats and give you the Bose stereo system with 8 speakers, including 2 in the headrest. When it comes to fuel economy, the Kicks is at the top of the class with an EPA fuel rating of 31 miles per gallon in the city, 36 out on the highway, and 33 combined. But I've got a pretty heavy right foot. I'm only getting about 31 combined, which coincidentally is the combined EPA rating of the next most fuel-efficient car, the Mazda CX-3. So is the Nissan Kicks the most fun to drive? No, that is the Mazda CX-3 all the way. Is it the most techy? Well, that's probably closer to the Toyota CHR. Is it the best off-road? Oh, hell no, that is the Jeep Renegade all the way. But I still really like it. It's just so joyful and playful. It's a quality that a lot of cars don't have these days. I mean, I look at the Kicks and I just smile. Only the Kia sold best the Kicks when it comes to starting price, but this guy behind me is the top of the line SR with the optional premium package, coming in at right around $23,000. This makes the Kicks a solid mid-pack choice with decent handling, fairly good price, but it's just not for the shrinking violet. Are you super excited to find out what we're going to drive next here on Roadshow? Subscribe on YouTube and you'll be the first to know.